everyone, this is part 2 of the season ranking. Part 1's over here. Let's get right into it. We've reached the top 3, and in 3rd place is Fresh Season 2023. The only season that doesn't have a trailer. Definitely seems like it got scrapped. Instead, we got that poster. This was mainly themed around 2 new special weapons, which is probably gonna be what determines if you like the season or not. Kraken is fun, but very polarizing because, you know, invincibility, and Super Chump, while in my opinion a very well-designed special, was also very weak, especially on launch where it dealt like no damage. For me, I think these specials have been handled relatively well over time and I find them very fun, so I really like this season. Up next would be the alternate kits, in which we actually have the most amount of them here. And there's a decent amount of good ones as well, most notably probably being the Rapid Blaster Deco, Tri-Slosher Nouveau, ZF Charger, and 96 Gal Deco. It also introduced Tenatech 2. Zipcaster Splash, man, it was right there. I don't know what happened. This game has a very odd obsession with fumbling weapons with this special. Umami Ruins is honestly a pretty solid map, even on launch, and while Manta Maria is definitely worse than Splatoon 2, it at least has some better qualities. It's okay at the time. Speaking of stages, they also did the pole update. I think the new gear was better. There's 126 returning and 25 new, which is a lot, and we got the fabled Splatoon 1 emote here, except if you play some of the weapons not in Splatoon 1, you got that one later. Big Ren had a new King Salmon at this time, and a better map, which made it significantly better. Ouroboros is my favorite of the 3, so this was an easy win for me. I think the mechanics on it is really nice. It was also the very first extra work, which is the only one I really played. I am not that good at Salmon Run, and I did not find these very appealing, but I would definitely have tried them a little bit more if the first round wasn't the easiest thing imaginable, and basically the equivalent of a 2-minute cutscene, which is an issue that never got fixed for some reason. You could finally play table turf against other people. There's still no online matchmaking, and this is late, but it happened. As for the balance patch, there's a lot here. Big Swig Roller got its object damage literally doubled, as well as better vertical flick 1 and 2 shot range. You can't say they didn't try. A bunch of specials got damage to crab buffs. Zap got 180, that's a bit of a low point. Slosher got consistent 50 damage. Zimmy shoots for longer. Dooley got its lag changes. Reflux got its faster strafe speed and tighter shots. And a lot of special changes, including cooler range, slider 70 and radius buff, the God Egg jet buffs, stamp buffs, crab nerfs that fixed the special, and removing tower control crack and cheese. Maybe shouldn't have been in the game in the first place. Like, this season definitely had the most notable patch changes out of the entire thing by like a mile. Overall, like I said earlier, it really depends on what you think of the specials, but for me, I like them, so between that and having a lot of and relatively solid kits, there was a ton on the multiplayer side, a fun Salmon Run event, and a lot of other smaller changes that I think were pretty good. Number 2, the 2023 Drizzle season. I can't believe I'm ranking this high. In my initial ranking, this was so much lower until I revisited it a little bit more. And I gotta start with the low point first, which is what I said was the high point last time. On launch, I was really excited for the new stages, and like, they are an improvement from the base game in terms of the flaws they have, but I think Captain Astro's quote on them aged really well.
I think everyone's so used to eating dog shit that flavorless oatmeal is gonna taste incredible by comparison.
These are both still awkward to move on, especially Crab Leg, and very lockout heavy. A lot more potential for reworks, sure, but we never got reworks to those, so they're just okay to me at best, and the reworks to other stages just made some of the older stages past them in terms of design quality, as well as we got other better ones later. So whatever, I kinda wish we got a returning stage instead. The aesthetics were good though, I'll give them that, especially Crab Leg. The new weapons are what gained a lot of points for me. I think this is the second best batch of main weapons they've put in the game. Even on launch, they were decently strong, and both of them have attributes that actually make them feel pretty powerful, which is an area a lot of main weapons lacked in. Dread hits really hard, and the double sloshers paint the map like crazy, and Edit's full charge mode is a laser beam of death that also turfs everything. It also helps that both of these got better buffs both to their mains and kits and made them stronger later down the line. The 2 new songs they added are also great. They might be the best music additions out of the entire set of seasons. The weapon kits were okay. Not as bad as I remember. I liked Sloshing Neo, Incline Tri-Stringer, and Sorella Brella, but nothing really felt substantial. Sloshing Machine and Sorella were the big winners of this, but between Machine being heavily nerfed already and Brella just never getting the buffs it needed, the main weapons just weren't really there to make the kits feel that amazing. The catalog was okay. This is where the returning gear started, which I'm okay with the gear coming back, but like, I think they should just be in the shop so people can buy them more easily without grinding the catalog. They missed it for a year. That's a fair enough punishment, I guess. Salmon and Smokeyard was added, which I do like way more in this game, but after playing it for a while with Egg Throw that makes the map work, it still doesn't feel exceptional to me, and sometimes High Tide is a little bit annoying, especially in king fights. If Triumvirate ever happens there, good luck. Big run happened on Umami Ruins, which is one of my favorite maps next to Barnacle, and it also added the Grisco dualies. These were very fun. I love the mechanic of the dodge rolls, and debuting them in a big run is really cool. The damage on them was pretty pathetic, but it eventually got fixed later. Challenges only highlight this season for me was the modified Rainmaker one, which is the most fun I've had on this mode in the entirety of Splatoon 3. Quality of life stuff also happened, which is okay. The adjust gear feature I like, even if I only really use it for glasses, and it added a ton of splash tags and locker items, like 400 splash tags. That's a lot. Patchwise had a decent bit as well. Whale got quality of life stuff, Zipcaster got a big buff, Cooler got its cooldown nerf, Last Ditch Effort finally got nerfed in what may be the longest running OP anything in Splatoon history. Carbon and Roller got its horizontal buffs back, which are some of my favorite patch changes. Roller's horizontals were so bad in Splatoon 2, and it looks like Splatoon 3 made it its mission to restore Roller horizontal flicks across the board. Hydra got a decent mobility buff, Curling 65% is good, and Whale maybe got a little too much damage, but it sacrificed Missile, and I guess Zuko's slightly less BS. Decent amount of patch stuff here as well, and in general, this season looks a lot more solid now looking back. While the stages didn't age as well to me, the main weapons absolutely did, and there was a lot more in this season than I actually remember, which contributed to its ranking being much higher than my initial impressions of it. However, it is not my favorite season. That goes to the 2024 Sizzle season, and it's not even close. First off, let's talk about the weapon kits. These are the best, by like a mile. The highlights for this are Charcoal, Custom Wellstring, Mint, Bamboo 2, Dowser FF, Custom Range Blaster, Heavy Edit Nouveau. That's not even all of the ones that were solid. That's all of the good ones, and I mean really good ones. Fun, unique, synergistic combos that feel powerful. If we had kits like this throughout the entire game's lifespan, oh my god, it would be amazing. And honestly, getting 2 kits right off the bat for the new main weapons was kind of nice. Obviously, the odds of the kit being better is probably better later down the line, since you get time for the players to test out the weapons and get better opinions on them. However, having 2 kits on launch just made it more likely you'll have something you enjoy. Wellstring definitely benefited from this, considering that its first kit wasn't that great, and if it didn't have its second one, I don't know if it would have caught on as fast. Speaking of those weapons, these are the best new main weapons. They were really powerful, even on launch, and it feels like the devs really wanted to showcase them being good at things. Like, even for more casual players, you can tell by a mile, Wellstring shoots so many bullets, it paints a lot, its object damage goes crazy. Splatana, you got a huge hitbox, this really far dash, and really good damage numbers. These weapons feel insane in a good way, and like, it even extends beyond those weapons. We got Grisco Roller, and Grisco Splatana is still my favorite. I love that weapon, but Grisco Roller is the most fun one they've put in the game by a mile. Running around is really cool. And we're not done with the strengths yet. The stage reworks were huge. Yeah, they don't make any of them amazing by any means, but they turn a lot of weaker stages into average or even slightly good stages. And again, this game's biggest problems are the maps. Umami, Barnacle, and Hammerhead Zone specifically were all big winners to me. The new stage for this was Lemuria Hub. I'm not as big a fan of it as I was before. It's a different feeling stage in a game where they feel very similar. The catalog didn't have a whole lot for me. I found the emotes were okay. This was the best big run for many obvious reasons, but I love Triumvirate. I like that it's genuinely challenging. It feels like a final boss, and having the Grisco weapons and extra specials for it is really cool. As for the new songs, I like Sea Source, but I've critiqued Splatoon 2 for having some songs that, while fine for the Splatoon world, do not fit well in battles, and Amalgamania is that for me. Really funny in the trailer, but not something I enjoyed as much in-game, especially that one section. You know what I mean. I get it isn't a problem for most people, so it's probably just a me thing, and I've gotten used to it over time, obviously, but it was really off-putting at first. As for the patch notes, there's a decent amount here as well. Bow got some nice paint buffs finally, Reflux got its mid-air charge, which is one of the best changes it could have ever gotten, Slider got its rails, finally adding a little bit of depth to it, Bubble and Vacuum got a lot of quality of life stuff, Grisco Doolies got their damage buff, and another big Carbon Roller one. Dowser got efficiency to use its burst bombs more, and Recycle got shield cycling. Really cool mechanic, except that the shield breaks always. And even Slider Cheese got nerfed a little bit, though maybe remove it next time. There's definitely some stuff the other seasons did better here, but for me, this is a quality over quantity. There isn't as much here, but almost everything they did this season was an absolute banger. anger, and it just aged really well for me. Well, this ended up being quite a long ranking, but I hope you all have enjoyed my thoughts on ranking every single season of Splatoon 3. As a whole, some definitely seem a lot better in hindsight, others a little bit worse, but for the most part, I think the model could definitely be improved if they want to go with it next time, especially if we can get more kits, please. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.